people went and they told Maresca, oh, during a podcast, Matt Law said that the issue with the red cards is if the team is a reflection of the coach, which I do believe a team is a reflection of a coach. But when have you heard, Tyrone, of a club going to tell a manager, oh, this is what a journalist said from a podcast? It's stupid as hell.
What I can
I,
say.
Tyrone, let me tell you one last thing before you say your thought. I think they're setting him up. They're gonna fire this guy after this season. I think so.
Yeah.
I
I also
think so. And these guys are very good with PR merchants. They're good with social media. I
you
think there's a
see
narrative being set up. Maresca is gonna get fired. They're
you
gonna
you
put the
see
blame on him. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
and that's why they're even going to pay people. You see, that is the thing. Sometimes you just don't know what happens because let me just tell you. I don't know. Nowadays Chelsea kind of sucked my love for football. It has reached a point where nowadays I am not so. I don't even watch games for other teams. That's what Chelsea have done to me. I just watch Chelsea games, and that's all I do because they sucked the life out of me when it comes to football.
Yeah.
They sucked the life out of me. It just becomes a problem that I really don't understand what these people are doing. I really
They
don't.
they don't know what they're doing, but they're arrogant. I won't say they don't know what they're doing. They know how to make money. These guys remind me of what is going on in the USA right now. They're all about business. No
You,
interpersonal stuff. Again, no learning of boundaries, meaning let the footballers do what they do. You can't come and coach Maresca. Again, he's learning too. But you can't every match. What went wrong? What was the
you, you,
formation?
you know, it
Let
reaches a
the
point
sporting
where
directors, Tyrone, then become the coach. If they're so good, let them become coaches. Let them coach the team. Buy the players and coach the team. Actually, I actually think that's more efficient. You guys scout the players and then coach the team. Let's see the result.
yeah. So guys, it's been an abrupt live. I just had to click on live because I knew I didn't have to wait for the game. I just knew that the game is over. I'm actually
Oh,
saying that the game.
right. Is it draw? Is it 2-2? Because I'm outside.
No, the game is over.
Oh, because I'm not surprised. I was just saying, Manchester City, they find a way. You can equalize with them. I was happy for Nottingham Forest. I went for a walk, came back 5 minutes later, they're up 2-1. Once they scored us 2-1, I knew the game was over, Tyrone. That's why I came on the live. I was like, this is done. I know we're not
I
going to
knew. I
score back.
also knew. I also knew it was done. You see, with this Chelsea team is that I think we regressed our squad. We regressed our squad. We really regressed our squad. Ike likes to hype up Estevao. Estevao come in, Estevao come in, but Estevao is not ready. This is the thing that I've
He's
always been saying
18.
about Este. He's
He's
so weak.
18.
He's weak. He does not have the physicality of the Premier League. I didn't understand what was the hurry to do away with Noni. I didn't understand what
Profit.
was the.
What do you mean, what was the hurry? Profit. We bought him for 32 million. He depreciated and now we got 52 million. Straight up profit. Mr. Taro, I think you're looking away. Don't you understand? We bought him from 32. He depreciated over the past 2 years. So now he's worth 20 million on the books. Now we make 52.
So
Profit.
how much did yeah. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. That's why I'm saying you will sack Maresca. Okay, let's sack Maresca.
Then we'll start all over again.
That's
This
why I'm telling
project
you.
will now be another 2 to 3 years. They have been
And
washing us, Tyrone. They have been washing us. Oh, you remember initially they said they will need 7 transfer windows to build a team. How many transfer windows has it been? It moved from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7.
Guys, if you're watching us, please, please, please do not forget to like. I'm trying to have a thumbnail. I just had to rush on this live stream because we really need it. We really need it. And we need to ask ourselves, because now this thing is now beyond. It's beyond even the manager. It is beyond the players. It's the hierarchy. I'm asking myself, are we recruiting a team to win? That is the question. Are we recruiting a team to win? Because you cannot tell me that I'm looking at both strikers and I'm like, oh my God, we treated Jackson harshly. Because Jackson used to average 14 goals in a season. Who do you think is giving you 14 goals here? Look at Jackson being taken out of this team. Look at how it has killed Palmer. Look at what is happening.
We
You've
treated
spent
him.
90
We
million.
We
We've
treated him
spent
harshly, Tyrone, and we also made a very rookie, inexperienced way of dealing with the situation. Do you remember the old Chelsea where we had Drogba, we had Shevchenko, we had
Anelka.
Anelka, we had Maluda, all these guys, and then we had Solomon Kalou. Yeah, some of them were wingers, but they could fit in into the strike. So what made it so bad? If we know this guy Jao Pedro is really more of a supporting striker. That you could have sat down with Jackson and say, "Hey, this is nothing to your career. Yeah, we know you've gotten 2 red cards recently. The reason why I'm bringing Dilap is to compete so that you can be better." Because again, it would have made sense. All the injuries we had, we could have used Jackson, but the bridge was already burnt. Now it's a chicken and egg problem, Tyrone. Did Jackson burn the bridge, or did Maresca do it, or did the club do it because they want to now sell him for 70 million? Who knows?
Do
That's
you
the
know one
problem.
thing? Do you know one thing? Do you know one thing that I've realized? One thing that I've realized. Yeah, 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 yeah. Somebody is saying, can I join? Let me just share the link, because I know a lot of people want to join and say something. It's also good to meet new people. That's how we're able to grow our community. So there is the link. I've posted the link. You can join. I want to hear from Mehdi. Mehdi, just let it out. Let it out. 90 minutes of your precious sleep wasted. Let it out, Mehdi. Hello, we're not able to hear you. Maresca is clueless. His lineup is bang wrong. His in-game management is zero. Chelsea were in control of this game and shouldn't have lost. But Yashile is an absolute garbage, same as Dilap. Mehdi, I'm waiting for you. I'm not able to hear you. It's not Maresca's fault. It's the quality of Chelsea players. Mehdi, Mr. Mehdi seems Mehdi is not responding. You see one thing that I have to say is that Christian said something when I made that halftime call. He was like, Teron, don't get so carried away. It can be a therapy session after 90 minutes. I
I mean,
laughed. And he's
Tyrone,
right.
Mr. Christian and I had even an extended therapy session. Some of us have already, again, I'm not a fly in the wall, but some of us have figured out that there's something wrong with this model. And you can smell bullshit a mile away. You're only a fool if you can't smell it. Some people are catching on that this model will never be appropriate for any coach because of
Frank,
the
try to
way
have
it's
your
set
camera
up.
on. Frank, you're in the background. Try to at least have your camera on, or text something on the private chat. I want to add you. I'm just adding you to
it
the stage.
it seems to be an impossible task to work with these guys. Again, on the
It is.
books, we're good, but we're not gonna win. Tyrone, do you remember one time where I said, so if the private investors, private equity guys, which is these people, they're gonna make their money, right? they're gonna make the money they want. So I'm like, so what happens to us, the fans? And I was like, we're gonna be crying for a couple of years because in the end, we don't really have a say and we don't really matter because they're like, we're here to make our books good and run it as a business and make money. So that
You
means
see,
winning is not a priority. And who wants to win the most? The fans and maybe the players. But the players, you can argue they have 8-year contracts. So some
you
of them
see,
will wait it out. You know, Tyrone, one last point. I would know we're right or we're up to something if one of the top players is like, nah, I'm out of here. Because you can
you see,
only tell Kopama, all these guys, like, winning Champions League is nothing. This is from childhood. Everybody wants to win. And if
you see
one of
what
those
is.
players is like, I'm out of here, then I'll know that we're right and there's something wrong with the model.
Let me tell you something. The minute this fails with Maresca, I have to say this. The minute this fails with Maresca, oh my God, I'm saying this with a lot of confidence. A lot of players are going to go. A lot of players are going to go. A lot. Even Enzo now is going to start entertaining ideas of going to Real Madrid. Palma is going to. You see, there's a reason why I said, how did we lose to Semenyo? We used to be the club that used to take top players. We used to be taking players off Manchester City. Why? Because players knew when they come to Chelsea, they are coming to win. You see, this thing is so huge. I really wanted Isaac to come in. I've tried to text him. I've tried to say, where is Isaac? Where is Isaac? I'm seeing a lot of people coming on. Can you try to at least have your camera on? If you don't, if you have a crucial information,
Mr. Tyrone,
yeah, yeah.
before you go on to all your long conspiracy about the past and when things were better in the old days, yada yada yada. Let us take the context of the game, just this game today in its by itself. Well, what really happened in this game? You, as your with your super high IQ, you know the facts of this game. What happened? What really happened is that Chelsea ran out of
Yeah,
gas.
let me
That that
let me
first that first half press they played was insane, and they could not keep up that press in the second half. They were out of gas, and unfortunately, Carabao Cup, the manager there, made the substitutions too late. But even those substitutions were substandard. You could see Delac. It doesn't belong to that team. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude to the guy or be horrible to him, but it just doesn't. He seems to be like a fish out of water when he plays there. Gittins, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but you're not quite Chelsea quality yet.
Yeah.
I know you all guys. You worship Esteval. Esteval, he's been figured out. I told you it was going to happen. He's been figured out. He doesn't know what to do anymore. So the starting 11 was good, but Aston Villa was so good. They forced Chelsea to press and press and press, and by that time they were out of breath, out of gas. And this is where we got exposed. They played us off the pitch in the second half. Let's be honest.
you see
Mr.
one thing
Quentin,
I
can
realized.
we
One thing
also add the fact that they changed their formation in the second half?
that is what I want to address. You see what happened in the second half? This is why I'm telling you that a smart manager, because this is where I'm starting, this is where I will touch the manager. Because as much as I try to Isaac sees like I try to defend the manager, I have to say this. You see, in the second half, what happened in the second half? Unai Emery adjusted the way Aston Villa were building. And how did he do it? You see the way Chelsea press. The way Chelsea press is that they use João Pedro to press. Then when João Pedro presses, they just let me just mute somebody here. I think there is a bit of background noise. So when João Pedro presses, the one who presses the other centre back is usually the left winger. So what Aston Villa used to do in that second half, they knew that if the left winger goes to press the other centre back, it is Cucurella who comes out to shift across to try and cover. So what they used to do is they used to tell Martinez, just play the ball over Garnacho. Our fullback will be free. And if Cucurella steps out to press the fullback, then just play the ball directly in behind. That is why they look at the second half. They constantly kept on having space down that left side, and they did it. I think they did it almost 4 times. And I was like, Maresca, just adjust your press. Just tell Garnacho to stick with the left wing and then push a midfielder now to press if you want to press high. But they kept on doing it. That is where, when you're a great manager, those are the slight adjustments that you're able to see and make changes. I'm going to
But
do an in-depth analysis.
you have to give Ollie Watkins his flowers. Physically, the guy's a beast. That two defenders on one, how many times? 3 times in a row, and he did not budge. They tried to bully him, but if you just look at him, a physical specimen, you think he doesn't look very big, he doesn't look very small, but you can see why the guy's in England is international. Excellent player.
You see one thing. You see one thing that I'll have to say about Watkins is that. Also, another thing is that we really do not have great defenders, because even when I am about to say that, even when I want to say that the issue is probably Badiashile, but Fofana made the mistake for the Newcastle goal. So you're like, what is the problem here? And people are talking about the substitutions, the lineup. If the fans are complaining about the substitutions and the lineup, then what does that mean? It means we do not have a quality team.
Nope.
You remember what I said? We have a huge gap between our first team and our second team. So huge that the minute you take on a first team player and you replace him with a second team player, it automatically reduces the strength of the squad.
Bravo. Hallelujah. Well said.
Let's hear from our new guys over here before I introduce Mehdi. Mehdi has a lot of stats. Or let me introduce Mehdi, because he might even doze off. Mehdi, how are you? I'll introduce you, Frank and AM, just a minute. Mehdi, how are you?
Good. I'm good.
How are
I'm
you,
good.
man? 90 minutes of your sleep gone.
Yes. 90 minutes of my sleep gone. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we threw that game away, to be honest, because if we remember the first half, I don't think they even had any shots during that whole first half. Come in the second half, we had a lot of chances, I feel. And, look, people are not going to like me saying this, but we just don't have the players. We just do not have the players at all. Like, when you look at Garnacho, when you look at Neto, you look at Gittins, I think some Chelsea fans want to gaslight themselves into thinking that these guys, when a player starts doing small things nicely, like maybe they put in one good cross, they take one shot on target, and because you haven't seen that in such a long time, you think, yeah, this guy is good. But no, they're not good. They're not Chelsea level. If you compare all the teams above us, their wingers, their players, compared to our wingers today, you can see the difference in quality. You can see it when Neto is on the wing and he struggles to make the right decision, when Garnacho struggles to keep the ball at his feet, when Pedro doesn't press. And then who do you have to replace Pedro? Gittins? Delap? Okay, the stats favored us today, definitely. The 2-1. Watkins' first goal was very fortunate, but again, our goal was also very fortunate.
Yeah.
The second goal for Watkins, just poor marking. Again, Gusto lets him get ahead of him. He gets the header. There's nothing Sanchez can do. It's aced in that corner. And from there, it just looked like the entire team fell apart. Because Villa, I was surprised they didn't start with Watkins. I was like, okay, it's going to be easy. Then when Watkins came, I'm like, okay, this could be difficult, because I know now they're going to adjust that formation. And we just look like we completely fell flat. I don't even know if it's much of a tactical thing or as much as the players lost their heads. It's become a theme as well throughout the season, by the way, that we continue losing our heads. And another point I'll touch on is a lot of people are saying, oh, that handball was a penalty. But if we go to that Everton game, Fofana also had a similar handball, and that wasn't given as a penalty. So we can't really sit here and demand that, right? Because we know the rule is inconsistent. Overall, look, I think we just threw that game. We just absolutely bottled it. And I think it just comes as a shock to everyone's system. And to be honest, yes,
Not my system. Not my system. Don't throw me under the bus. Not my system. I told you before the game.
No, but going on how the game was going, but and I understand people's frustration with some of the changes. I don't understand why Cucurella came off. I understand Gittins, Garnacho, sure. Estevao should have just come on for someone else. Why Palmer came off, I don't know. Pedro, sure, you want to try something, but yeah, man, this is just down to the board. People are gonna
Oh,
say how. I mean, look at the players we have. That's all I'll say.
But you spent one
yeah.
billion pounds. How can you complain?
But
Thank
even how
you.
can you complain? I can spend £1 billion on trash, and then I'll be like, oh, I have so many things inside my house, but they're all trash.
Thank you. Before we continue, I just want to interact with some of the comments over here. So, why should our fullbacks keep on inverting instead of overlapping on the wings? Maresca is a shit show, passing the ball aimlessly. It's a culmination of a lot of things at Chelsea, because there's a lot that is happening on the pitch, in the recruitment, in the management. You see, there is also a conflict within the board. There's that side of the board that is run by Todd Bowley. There's the other side run by Clear Lake. These ones are like, we are supposed to go for this player. I think that is probably the reason why we have two left wingers. Maybe
There's
one,
too
one,
many
one.
chefs, Tyrone, if I can say. There's too many chefs in the kitchen. And these people
Yeah.
thought they were geniuses with that old saying, meaning you can't have a good meal with too many chefs in the kitchen. And they're like, nah, we're gonna figure it out. We're the first thing since sliced bread.
Thank you.
Sticking on that point, there's the old saying: never trust a thin chef. Only a fat chef. That means makes good food. The one overweight chef, yes. The one who's thin, don't eat his food. It won't taste good.
Just before I introduce Christian's best friend, he's in the background, and I want to see him. But before I bring him on to the stage, I want to hear what Frank and AM have to say, because they are quite new, and then I'll continue reading there. Isaac, just remain in the backstage. I'm bringing you in immediately. I know the emotions are here. We are going to give you a clear 10 minutes for you to express yourself. Frank, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. The match actually was absolutely draining. It was so rubbish from Chelsea's perspective. From the first half was actually good, but I knew that second half was going to be a game of two halves because Chelsea are not going to survive the second half because I know Villa very well. Aston Villa a different team entirely now. Look at they have been on a in winning streak now, and the next game is Mayu. Probably they can even win my Manchester United. So, but the point about it is that I won't actually blame the manager. It's the squad. The squad is not Premier League standard. We have so many leakage from the striker. Imagine you bought the lad for 30 million, but he hasn't scored up to like 3 goals in the Premier League. And and by next week we'll be in January, and from there, like the whole thing is I don't know. First of all, we need a quality striker. We need a quality striker because if Joao Pedro is out on injury, there's nobody that is going to support us in that front line. So and Dilap is not reliable. So we need a quality striker. Dilap cannot do the job. Is the plain truth. He can't do the job. And again, we need a defender in this January transfer, whether the board likes it or not, because we cannot we cannot even finish top four if we don't have a quality defender. I'm not even seeing us finishing on the top four because we are so bad. Like the second half, I couldn't even watch the second half to the end because when it was 1-1, I couldn't watch the match because I knew that Villa were going to equalize and they are going to score. They are going to win this game because the whole energy was down. Everybody looked confused. Even the group chat, people were blaming Moresca. I was saying Moresca was not on the pitch today. He was not on the touchline. Although he had opportunity to talk to his boys at break, but he was not there to. So it's left for the boys to organize themselves. It's left for them to organize themselves. If you want to become Premier League contender, you have to organize yourself, even though the manager is not there. You have to organize yourself, but they didn't show that today, and I'm really, really disappointed.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. It's very nice, and you've touched one area. And let me tell you this. Let me tell
Can
you
I ask
this.
Frank a question? A quick question.
Before you ask the question, I just want to make this. Just hold the question. So I'm saying that you've made a very very huge huge in sorry, let me just, there's a background noise from you. Let me just make this statement that you've made, and the thing is about the lap. For me, I knew the game was over when I saw the lap coming on. That is when I knew the game was over. If you're I'm seeing a lot of people are watching, so kindly like so that we can be able to share this stream. But for me, the minute I saw João Pedro coming off and the lap coming on, I knew it was a wrap, because the lap comes to play WWE, and he got a yellow card. i
Yeah.
kept on I kept on making a lot of noise on Jackson picking up all these yellow cards. So, Frank, just to create space, I'll put you in the backstage, but I'm going to add you back. But all I knew was like, damn, this is so bad. This is so bad. Like, this striker is so poor. Myself and Megdi, we are paying. Every single game, we have to make an apology to Christian, because
I don't know. He's not my brother. He's my friend. He's not my brother. But
every single day we have to make an apology, because it was only Christian who stuck his neck out for Jackson. He's the only person in this panel who kept on saying Jackson is the best striker that we have. Look at what Jackson is doing. Jackson is bringing the best. You see, Jackson would pick a yellow card, but he will leave everything on the pitch.
but
I've
Ja- but
said it.
Ja- but
I'm
Jackson,
ready.
but the difference between Jackson, if you look at physically, Jackson and Delap is stronger, probably better, shooting, more powerful. But Jackson has
I give.
he has the football IQ. IQ. He knows where to run. He knows how to run, and he knows how
You know,
to bully defend. That is the biggest difference. Is the football IQ between those two. I'm not saying Delap is a bad player, but
but
maybe his football intelligence, and I don't mean this badly, is maybe not up there. He's not at that level, elite level. He's maybe mid-table level, Ipswich level, whatever. But to come to a top six team, no, I'm sorry. But the price tag alone should tell you, 30 million for a striker is not by accident. It's that low. Normally, a striker, when goes to 60, 70, it is you get what you pay for.
Also to add something, I think Chelsea made a wrong decision in signing Delap. Sometimes you have to look at the profile of the player. Delap is a player who I think can thrive in a counter-attacking team where you're playing balls over the top, over the top. That is the kind of game I think he can play. But when you're playing a possession-based team, first of all, even when you play the ball to his feet, he's like Bambi on ice. When you pass the ball to his feet, he's like, he can't control the ball. He can't turn back. He can't make a pass. And when he's pressing, he wants to punch defenders. He wants to elbow defenders. Let me just say this. He's an accident in waiting. That's a red card in waiting in a very
Oh,
crucial game.
yeah.
Dilap. AM, let me give you an opportunity. Then I'll bring Isaac. Isaac has a lot to tell us. AM,
How are you?
let me I'm fine, thank you. Nice to meet you. Olu, I will also bring you. I'm seeing you on the backstage. Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay. All I just have to say about this performance is that it's a result of the model of the club. I mean, we look at defenders like Badeshil. I mean, he's bad. Then we have Neto and Garnacho. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's just the players we buy are who we are. Because, see, we could go for defenders like Bastoni and people like Rodrigo and Osimhen, and we go for people like Delab. And today, I don't blame Maresca. I think a higher level quality of players could see out this win, but our team is not good enough. We're not good enough for top four. I think if we don't finish top four this season, we could see some of our good players leave. Like Palmer, I don't know how many more seasons we could have him if we're not challenging for the title. And I feel like this season is already a write off. And it just shows us the importance of how Cowell was to our team. And I understand people will blame Maresca and they'll say it's his tactics, but at the end of the day, if we look at Arsenal and Man City, the quality of players are different. Some people are buying Turkey and some people are buying Garnacho. So that's
You see, this is,
basically all I have to say.
and thank you very much for making this comment, because I need to ask myself, we are Chelsea Football Club. We are signing Manchester United winger, and Manchester United fans are happy to let go of that winger. You see, Manchester United finished, was it 16th or 15th last season? We are signing Garnacho, and Man United fans are like, just take him, just take him. And this is what I said after the first half. I said, Garnacho gets the ball, he's isolated, and he can't do anything. That's why I made a comment during the halftime call. I said, if just imagine if Hazard was receiving the ball in those spaces that Garnacho was getting.
But to go
Yeah, I
back
Mo-
to
think
Yarek say, Mr. AM. So you complaining about the quality of the players there. Now, how do other teams put in young players, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and they make them function? They're not ready-made plug and play players. So you can't expect every single player Chelsea buys is going to be world-class player. I mean, sometimes you've got to, sometimes you can't always eat meat and chicken. Some days you've got to eat rice and beans. And so I don't know. I don't understand what you expect from the board or from the club.
all I have to say is that when Garnacho and Neto are starting for you in the wings, I think that tells you all you need to know about the club. Because instead of going for players like Rodrigo, like Vinicius right now is open for a move from Real Madrid, but we probably won't get him. So our defense is bad. Basically, we don't really have any world class defenders, bar maybe Cowell. Fofana, they're good, but they Fofana's always injured. So yeah, and then we have our tech Ganacho on the left with Gittins. Why do we have two average left wingers? On the right wing, we have Neto, average. Esteva was a good player, but he's not someone
He's
who's
not ready.
starting quality for Chelsea. Then you have João Pedro, who's not even a striker. Delap is a bad striker. We had the chance to sign Osimhen, we didn't. In the 10, we're loaning Buonanotte. I believe that that just tells you that the club isn't serious at all because the players we buy are not good enough. If you look at Arsenal and Man City, you look at Turkey, you look at Nico Gonzalez, you
Eze,
look at Ruben Mendy,
Eze,
Calafiori,
Eze,
Eze.
Eze. Even Noni Madueke going to Arsenal is an upgrade. Guys, I'm seeing 32 of you are watching. Can you please just give us a like on the video? Give us a like. AM, are you watching us from Southern Africa?
South Africa, Cape
Yes,
Town. He's
from
from Cape Town.
Namibia. From
Namibia.
Namibia.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yes.
I knew.
Windhoek.
Yes.
Yeah, you've really given us a lot of insights. I'm seeing there's a guy called Godfrey and Olu, but I'll give you an opportunity once Isaac has actually come on. AM, just maintain there together with Frank. It's just that I can't add everybody on stage, but I will bring all of you. Will you
Oh, okay.
be able to maintain? Will you maintain?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
will bring you. I'll bring you. So, Mr. Lingala, the
Ooh, I'll be
floor
waiting
is
for this.
yours.
Yes,
The,
yes, yes,
the
yes,
floor
yes,
is
yes.
yours. I want to see you. I want to see you. Can you have your camera on? I want to see you.
Yes, yes. Highlights.
I want to see you. I want even to keep quiet and give you the space. But I want to see you. I must see you.
Hi Tyrone, hi everyone. Sorry, you cannot see me now. I'm a
Okay.
little bit busy doing something, and I want to agree with who I am and you, Tyrone. You and I am. I want to disagree with you on the topic you just made. Maybe I'm the one in the panel in French country, so maybe I'm thinking in French and you guys are thinking in English. But let me tell you what I think. First of all, you mentioned about the lab that it was an error, something like that. No, we didn't sign the lab for nothing. We saw what the lab did last season. Based on that, we decided to sign the lab. But the thing is, the manager is not getting the better of the lab right now. Are we putting the lab in the best condition? What are we asking the lab to do? Is just to get the first ball, and hopefully someone around him can get the second ball. This is the task Maresca is asking the lab to do. Now, before I raise another topic, I just want to ask you a question. Christian, you the first one. Can you tell me who was the poorest player on the pitch in the half?
First or second half?
First half, where we were better. We were
That was
better.
João Pedro. João Pedro.
João Pedro. Okay. Mehdi, can you tell me?
Garnacho,
Who was the
Neto, Pedro, all of them.
Sorry?
All of them. Garnacho, Pedro, Neto, all of them were poor.
In the first half, he's
Maybe
asking.
in the first half, I
In the
know
first
you're
half.
right.
In the first half.
Yes, they were all bad. We don't discriminate, bro. We give equal.
So,
Mehdi, you're becoming
Neto,
emotional.
you mean Neto, Garnacho?
Sorry, what?
I'm sorry. You mean Neto, Garnacho, and
Pedro. João Pedro.
And that model who's trying to be a model instead of a striker.
Okay, Tyrone. What about you?
In the first half, I think Garnacho was not utilizing his position well, and also Neto is not using Rhys James well. I kept on seeing Rhys James making that overlapping run. That's why I'm saying that I was seeing some movement, but whenever Rhys James is making that overlapping run, instead of Neto playing the ball to Rhys James, you know the way Neto runs. Neto kicks the ball, then he looks down. He doesn't look.
So okay, so you mean if you were Maresca in the second half, if you were Maresca in the second half, before we concede the goal, who is the player you could change?
First of all,
before we
consider, I wouldn't change anything because I think I think we. You've asked me. You've asked you.
Yeah, we didn't concede yet, but you can see that Aston Villa was attacking and attacking and attacking again. So something should change before we concede the goal.
Okay.
But nothing was done.
Okay. Let me just answer this question. And before we continue, is my internet connection well? I'm asking people from. Because it's raining heavily here. Is my internet connection well?
Right now, it's okay.
It's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Okay. I want to answer Isaac because I know Isaac has a lot of questions with regards to. First of all, I not just to defend the manager. First of all, the manager was not even on the pitch. Second of all, when it came to if I have an issue because I'm hearing like somehow there's background noise. I don't know who it's. Maybe it's Isaac. I'll just a minute. So, first of all, what I can say is that if I was the manager, I wouldn't have changed anything. Yeah, because the team was actually winning by that time. And second, what I can say about there's something that Isaac said about Delap that I wanted to talk about, and the thing I can say about Delap is that is Delap a striker who a manager can change his entire system to accommodate? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Is Delap a Haaland? Is Delap an Osimhen who we can change the entire system? Because clearly, Delap is a striker who likes to make runs. He's a counter-attack striker. He's a counter-attack striker. That is who he is. That is why he flourished in teams like Ipswich. If you take Delap and play him at West Ham, he's probably going to flourish. Or you play him at Nottingham Forest. They're just they're just strikers who are meant for those kinds of systems. So that's why I'm asking, is Delap a striker that can give Chelsea 30 goals? If Delap is a striker that can give Chelsea 30 goals, then I can say that Maresca needs to move Chelsea from a possession-based team to a counter-attacking team. And then now we can be looking to try and get the best out of Delap. So I hope you've had me, Isaac, and I
Yeah.
don't have any.
Yes. So that's
Yeah, you
good.
can continue. You can
For
continue.
me, yeah. For me, first of all, you guys keep saying that the manager was not on the pitch, so he was sitting like everyone who paid his to watch this game. For me, I still believe that the instruction was coming from Maresca, and Maresca saw that Pedro Neto was not doing anything on the pitch, but he decided to keep him for 90 minutes. If I was Maresca, I could bring uh, Andre Santos, because when, as I'm saying, before we concede a goal, Aston Villa was attacking us, and I saw that the goal is coming. We should solidify our defensive midfielder on bringing on Andre Santos and pushing Palma at the right and taking Pedro Neto off. That was the first thing I could do. But he decided to put Gusto where he put Gusto and then push Estevao in the middle. For me, it's a big mistake. And we should not wait Aston Villa to equalize, then to start making the changes. No. Why? Maresca is waiting for Chelsea to concede, then to make change.
I have a question for you, Isaac.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Maresca makes a defensive substitution and we still lose, it will be, why did Maresca take off attacking?
No. I don't
Just a minute. Just a minute, Isaac.
I don't
just
agree.
a minute. Okay. I'm saying just a minute. I'm going to give you. I just want to ask you this question. Then the second question is, how did we concede the equalizer? That should have been the question. How did we concede the equalizer? We conceded the equalizer because Benwa decided to make a line-breaking pass that was intercepted, which, in my opinion, I just think he should have just gone low. The second thing that I saw in this game is that whenever Chaloba plays down that left, he's constantly looking to play balls over the top. But Badiashile is immune to playing balls over the top. That is one thing that I saw. So I let me just say, I'm not trying to defend the manager. If sacking Maresca is going to make Chelsea win the Premier League, I have no problem. I've seen way better manager getting sacked. I've seen Mourinho getting sacked. I've seen Tuchel getting sacked. I've seen Carlo getting sacked. I've seen Sarri getting sacked. We have had many great managers getting sacked. So if Maresca is the problem, do you think, let me ask you a question. Do you think that if Maresca is sacked, this team challenges for the Premier League?
Immediately. I still believe that immediately many players will play better than what they are doing now.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think this team is good enough to challenge? Does it have the players to go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, Manchester City, even Liverpool, who are now ahead of us?
Does Aston Villa have a good player to challenge Manchester City and Arsenal? If yes, but Chelsea can do that.
Aston Villa are not in a title race.
Why are you saying that? Are you seeing the result?
I have seen the result, yes, but
yes.
But overall, let's look at Aston Villa.
Yes.
One winger who used to play for us came on today, and he was feasting on our defense. That is Sancho. Sancho came in and he was bullying our. He was tearing down, and this was our starting left winger last season. That's why I'm saying, Isaac, I will not come here and I'm not trying to defend Maresca. Get this right. I'm not trying to defend Maresca. If sacking Maresca is what is the problem, then there's no problem. Let's sack the manager. But we had Tuchel, we sacked him. We had Potter, we sacked him. We had Pochettino, we sacked him. Maresca, let's sack him. Because that is the way Chelsea has been. But the question I'm asking, do we have the starting 11 and the bench players to actually go for something? Because let me give you an example here. Look at the team that won. Let's look at the major trophy that Chelsea won the last time. The last time Chelsea won a huge trophy. Godfrey, I'm going to bring you in just a minute. look at the last team that Chelsea won a big trophy with, and that is the Champions League. We had Thiago Silva. Is Thiago Silva better than all the centre backs we have at the moment?
Let's go in
Yes.
attack. Let's start by the attack.
No. Let me start
by
from
the
the
attack.
back. No, let me start from the back.
Who do we
Let me
have
start
in
from-
attack in that time with Thomas Tuchel?
But you don't want me to start with the back because the defense is what won us the Champions League. We have the record of the team that has conceded the least goals in the Champions League. Chelsea has that record. So we were strong defensively. So we had Thiago Silva, who's better than all centre backs. Rudiger is better than the centre backs that we have. And Spilicueta is better than the centre backs that we have. That is a fact. Number two, we had players who are either older or in their prime. Marcos Alonso, despite being slow as he was an experienced player. Jorginho and N'Golo Kante and Kovacic, all of them were around the age 27, 28, and 29. When you go to the wing or the fullbacks, Chilwell was a bit 24, Reece James was younger. In fact, Reece James, Mount, Havertz, and Werner were probably young. But they were young in that Mount was the youngest and he was probably 23 years old. Now let's compare with what we have.
Yes.
Let's compare with what we have. Look at our striker. Look at the striker we used to have. Giroud. Giroud was in his 30s. And Giroud was that striker who you bring on.
You see, let's talk about Giroud. You see, that Thomas Tuchel got the best of Giroud. Giroud was getting old when he came to Chelsea. A team which want to challenge for the title could not recruit a player as Giroud, but he got the best of Giroud.
Let me ask you a question.
Today we are seeing that our let's say João Pedro and Delap, they are poor. They are not poor. You mean we want to recruit the poor strikers? No, they were better in their club. We bring them at Chelsea, and then yes, of course.
Mehdi, can you pull out the stats for João Pedro and Delap? Pull out the stats for João Pedro and Delap for the last season.
Mehdi at disconnect. Yes, disconnect.
If there's a chance, Tyrone, I want to just say something.
Yeah, he's here. Mehdi is here. Mehdi is here. Yeah, I'm giving you. Yeah. Continue. Continue.
Who, me?
Yeah, you are saying something. Mehdi is here. Mehdi is here. Just before you proceed, Mehdi, can you pull the stats for? Can you pull the stats for João Pedro and Liam Delap for the last 2 seasons? And try to break it down for Isaac.
One thing I do know is that last year Delap did overperform his stats generally, because his XG was actually very low and he ended up scoring more than he was actually supposed to. So when you look at players who have statistics like that, they tend not to actually be sustainable. So last year, I know he scored double digits, but his XG was in the red. Like we're talking 0.22. And mind you, this is with like non-penalty. You include penalties, it's hardly even boosted. The only thing with the lap that was really good at, as the underlying numbers show, was carrying the ball and taking on defenders. That is it. The lap showed no high XG, showed no aerial ability. He overperformed a lot of stats. Obviously, that was not sustainable. João Pedro, now let's go to him. João Pedro wasn't really like, how do I explain? He wasn't one of those players that when you look at them and you think, oh, this is like a top quality striker. João Pedro had a lot of, how do I say it? He had a lot of good link-up play. He was able to drop deep. He was able to play well behind a second striker. He was never a primary number 9. And even his stats will show that. His XG was extremely low, the same as Delap. But his expected assists were kind of high. He had good progressive passes. He had good progressive carries. So when you look at his profile, he's just another link-up player. I don't even know if he's a proper number 10, which you can argue for that. But why would you need a proper number 10 when you have the likes of Palmer? So while I understand, like, oh, these players are good, they're just not. And again, it's coming to a club like Chelsea and performing at a club like Brighton, Ipswich is night and day difference with the space you get. You're not going to get that type of space in a club like Chelsea. Honestly, if you ask me, you see, if Isaac, if you told me like Mateta, I'll be like, okay, if we have Mateta, it's a different story because Mateta has high XG. He's a good, penalty box striker. There was one game alone this year where he accumulated the highest amount of XG for a single player, 3. There are players like that out there, but we're not going for them. You tell me right now, we have other players like Igor Thiago. Are we going to go for him? He has good stats, but are the board smart enough to identify that? No. And I don't think the board recruited to win. The board recruited for profits. They know tomorrow if Garnacho gets minutes in the Premier League, if he just looks good on paper, same with Gittins, they are young, they have resale value. It's not a risk. These are assets. They don't really care about us winning. You cannot tell me that we told a player like Semenyo no because we don't want to pay wages. That just shows a lack of ambition. The stats don't show it. The vision doesn't show it. So
The
like
eye
we
test,
can't.
the eye test, as Christian likes to call it.
Yes, the eye test also doesn't show it because it's a very big jump to come from mid-table to Champions League. I think people underestimate that. So no,
Okay,
I definitely don't think it's an
maybe
American.
let's take all the comments you made on Delap and Joao Pedro,
Yeah.
comparing to what they are doing now at Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of improving, they become even worse.
Because I think
No,
the level
they're
of
playing at their
team,
level. They're playing at their
yeah,
level, to be honest.
that's
They're
their
playing
level. It's
because
just
The
No, but
chipping, please.
Delap is not playing in the same profile. Where is
but
strong? We are not playing on the in his strong side.
who are you
that's why
telling?
Can I chip
I'm
in,
saying
please?
about Delap.
I'm also ready to check in because I really have something to tell Isaac.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, Isaac, and this is out of respect, and I know Tyrone has a lot of respect for you because you're IQ football head. What some of us are saying, right, Isaac, you are correct that Maresca is not good enough. But we've already figured that the model wants only coaches like Maresca. They're not gonna go hire a top manager like you're saying that can identify and make the best out of these players because the model is supposed to be like a conveyor belt. They made it clear we want a coach, not a manager. We give you the players and you make do with it. So that's what some of us are saying. They're not gonna hire an Enrique, a Tuku, because again, I wanted to give a balanced approach to what Tyrone was saying, comparing how Tuku got the best out of Giroud. Obviously, that's a high level manager. He's the manager of England now. So again, to be the best, remember when we went to high school, you had top 10, meaning top 10 in all subjects. So you had an edge somehow. They don't want an edge coach because there's no edge coach that will come to this model the way it's set up and say, yeah, I can figure it out. That's like finding a diamond in the rough. This model wants a coach, meaning we give you the players and you make do with it.
Can I chip in,
Just
please?
before Isaac interrupts, comes in, and Elba, I think we have Godfrey. We had Olu actually joining. I just want to give the new guys an ability to come in and say something, and then now we just continue because we can continue. And also before I bring you Olu in, I see your mic is on. Before I bring you Mehdi has left again. Oh my God! Even AM has left. Oh, AM left. I'd actually told him to remain. So, Olu, I'm just bringing you in. Also, I wanted to give this example. Yeah, AM, thank you for also rejoining. I wanted to give you this example. Now, I don't know if this is the same thing with other countries, but what usually happens is that, for example, you have in Kenya, like you have national schools. Those are schools that perform exemplary well in national exams in the country. Then below them, you have extra county schools, and then you have county schools. Now, you can be in this school where you're actually placed based on you're placed based on your grade. So you have these national schools, which I can compare them with the top 6 clubs. And then you have these extra county schools where you can place the likes of Aston Villa, Newcastle. They are teams that perform well, but they are not the elite teams. And then you have now these county schools. They are good schools, yes, but they are like 2 tiers below the top schools. Now, you have this student who's always coming number one in these county schools. Now, this student who's always coming number one in these county schools, you take them and you put them in a national school. What is going to happen? He's going to come probably number 10 or number 15 or number 20. Not because he's stupid, no. It's because the level, those players, those students in those top tier schools are smart students. They perform at an exemplary level. So that is what I think about Liam Delap. When he's in these average teams, he's playing well. And we have seen a couple of players who, let's talk about Zaha. Zaha used to excel so much in Crystal Palace, but he never made that jump to go to a top team. And I agree with Mehdi with the opinion on Mateta. So Olu, can you come in and just say something 2 minutes as we are taking actually Isaac's time, because Isaac had a lot to say.
All right.
Olu,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. Thank you
All
for
right.
joining
So
us.
no worries. It's my first time here, and I think I
Yeah.
appreciate the IQ of the people that have spoken before in terms of what we're going through at the moment as Chelsea. I didn't even know that you're in Kenya. My family presently are in Kilmani in Kenya.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
for a program. Well, I'm in London. I'm in UK. Anyways, the last speaker actually was nail on what was on my mind and what I wanted to discuss about where we are as Chelsea. As a devout Chelsea fan, a season ticket holder who have been following Chelsea for years, sometimes when Chelsea lose, I find it difficult to sleep or to eat. It affects me so much,
You're
and
right.
and that's how I've
100%
devoted
right.
my life to this team. Okay, so now the reality is that we no longer have Abramovich, who loved Chelsea to the bone, to the marrow, who wanted to win everything, who would bring out his wallet to get the best of the best. Now we've got the buyers, or now the owners, who actually have turned Chelsea to Brighton, which is a conveyor belt. Like the last speaker said, let's just reel in these young players, give them long contracts. When we see that they now have sell-on value, get rid of them, make money. They are not after winning laurels or winning things that we Chelsea fans have been used to. We've tasted. We're used to glory days, them Drogba, them gladiators like Lampard, like Ballack, Essien, people that would die on the pitch for the badge. We no longer have those crop of players anymore. Now, people we have now, which is reality, we have to make do with who we have now. Chelsea fans like you and I, we're going to have loads of sleepless nights, crying nights ahead of us. We just started. And there's really nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. Now, let me now come down to the guy in charge now, who is Maresca. Now, I agree with I think the speaker before the last speaker, that Maresca is still the one in charge of the team. I understand he was not on the touchline today. Okay, but it was his selection that was on the pitch. He made that selection. And as soon as I saw that selection, I told a friend of mine who sat with me that why is Badeshile on the pitch when we have Wesley Fofana on the bench? So I'm not trying to. This is not throwing Maresca under the boss, but what I've noticed about the man is that he makes mistakes. Where all managers are allowed to make mistakes, but in high-profile games such as this, we don't even have our guaranteed first 11. The rotation is too much. You can't win anything when you keep changing players game after game, game after game. We don't have a core of, oh, these are first 11, these are winning machine, and then we go with it. So today was a very good example of that. And like Isaac said, Pedro Neto offered nothing in the game today, but Maresca left him there. You could have changed him. Esteva was on the bench. Wesofana was on the bench. You're bringing on Gittins, who we know is an absolute joke as well. And I quite agree with the last speaker who spoke about the XG of Delap. And I think personally, and I might be wrong, but in my opinion, I would not have sell Nicholas Jackson.
My
I would,
brother, my
yes, sir.
brother. Hey,
Yes, sir.
hi, my
Mr.
brother, my
Christian,
brother.
Olu is also my Nigerian brother, so he's all our brother, by the
Yeah, but
Mm.
way.
he's my brother. He supports Jackson, so he's my brother.
Olu, also to add, whenever you lose the Chelsea game, we always have therapy sessions. After this, you'll just sleep well and move on with your life. That's what we always do. We just come here, we laugh, and we just laugh it out. And tomorrow we are like, okay, those are just 3 points, and we continue with life. So
Let's move on with it. Honestly, I don't know when those glory days are going to return. I don't know if it's ever going to return with this ownership that we have right now, who clearly don't really think about the fans and how to make us happy, how to bring back those glory days. I don't think it's going to happen. We will suffer like this for a very long time.
Can I
Maresca is just
he's,
going to manage.
can I ask Mr. Olu a question?
Yes, please.
So you said, okay, according to you, so the reason for the defeat today is because of rotation. Maresca can't help himself. He's a rotation rotation merchant and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
So in today's game, the rotation I saw was only like Badiashile was rotated defense. But you
Mhm.
it can't be fair to blame him for the defeat because he was not responsible for any of the goals.
Okay, so
Was
did we realize that he was trying to play a defensive splitting pass and got it wrong?
I
Yeah,
think
but
it should have just gone long. I think it should have just gone long in that situation.
That's what I thought too. That was his mistake. And Jamie Redknapp and the other guy that was in studio actually highlighted the same thing. That no, look, just kick the ball out and be safe. I'm surprised because in the first half we all saw the game. Chelsea were on top of Aston Villa. I didn't even recognize that this was Aston Villa that had 10 game winning streak, hot streak. We were all over them. The only difference was that we just could not score. If we had scored the second goal in the first half or early the second half, we'll be sitting here now, maybe toasting a glass of wine. But we could not score the second goal. And they came back into the game and they grew into the game with their substitution, which is the same thing that we always cry about as Chelsea fan. I said before that I'm not going to throw Maresca under the bus. I think he's done a fantastic job. But the man is a coach, like we all agreed. He's not a manager. The model, like the last speaker said, would not hire a manager who will go and talk back to them. Nah, I don't want this. I want that. They don't want such. They're going to fire you. They want somebody that will just say, keep your mouth shut and just coach the players. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Because also to add to this, first of all, before you even proceed, and before I make this statement, there are some people who are in the backstage. Just know that I noticed that you are there, and I will bring you on. AM, Godfrey, and Frank. It's because we have reached the limit of the number of people that we can actually put on stage, and also those who are on stage. I can sometimes put you in the background to bring somebody on. Please do not go. It's just so that we can bring other people on to also say something. Okay. And one thing that I have to say about the management is that one manager that Chelsea should have brought in, if Clearlake really wanted to win and wanted to make Chelsea dominant, they should have hired Luis Enrique. Because before they were hiring Poch, Luis Enrique actually came in, and he came in with a plan on how he was going to make a super team out of the young players that Chelsea scored. And he came up with his CV. It had 2 Champions Leagues. It had a treble. It had multiple La Liga titles. But Todd Bowley and Clearlake looked at that Luis Enrique CV. They saw all these titles. They saw all these trebles. And they were like, no, let's hire Pochettino, who's won nothing.
Absolutely.
That summarizes the priority of the board. That's why I'm saying, yes, Isaac is right. Isaac is right condemning the manager. I do not disagree with him. That's why I told him, if Maresca is to be sacked and that is what is going to make Chelsea win, I have no problem with it.
Me too.
But the thing that we are saying here is, the problem goes beyond the manager, because even when you look at the way they are recruiting managers, look at before they hired Maresca, who were they shortlisting? Kieran McKenna, you don't even know where he's coaching nowadays. They were quoting this guy who's at Spurs, Thomas Frank. They were not talking about Zinedine Zidane. They were not talking about going to poach Carlo Ancelotti. They were not, even now, you're seeing Glasner has not renewed his contract. You don't know. Probably Chelsea have spoken with him and they have told him they're going to hire him at the end of the season. So now you bring in Glasner, another average manager. You're just going round. You're just going round and round and round and round and round. It's not like they're sacking Maresca and hiring Pep or Carlo Ancelotti.
But do we agree, though, that the crop of players that Chelsea have got at the moment,
they're not good enough?
Do you think they can't challenge for top 4?
No,
No.
Just look at this game. Compare Aston Villa's team to Chelsea's game. It's just if you have your hand on your heart and you take off your Chelsea sunglasses, just compare apples to apples. You'll find that we every position Chelsea was substandard compared to Aston Villa, and that is the honest truth. And I know it's painful to say that because we believe in our minds, in our delusions, that Chelsea's got the best players. Well, glad we've got Cole Palmer. Where was Cole Palmer today, by the way? Nobody's mentioning his name. And so we blaming Pedro and all that, but Cole Palmer is still trying to struggle to find his form. Maybe he shouldn't be starting. Maybe he should be a bench player coming on. He probably had better impact than.
Okay, can I now ask you gentlemen a question that's been on my mind? Where was the Chelsea that played Arsenal and Barcelona? Is it on the same team?
But remember, we drew with Arsenal and we got a red card with Barcelona.
But I mean, it's not the same Chelsea that played today.
The Chelsea, actually, we had two Chelseas today. We had the Chelsea that played Barcelona and Arsenal in the first half. The problem is when we are having the ball and we are dominating the game, we are not killing the game off. That is one problem with Chelsea. During that first half, we should have scored minimum 2 goals. The minute you score 2 goals, you come into the second half and you add a third one and the game is over. That has always been one problem that Chelsea has had. That is one problem that Chelsea have.
And you are right with the
add one thing about defenders, right? If you go see Manchester City's game in these last few Premier League games, ever since they played Leeds on 29 November to now, they have had the same backline except for one match. So you can change your midfield. You cannot change some things in your team. You cannot keep chopping and changing your center backs. That is the spine. You have to remember, because if you go see that game, right? Like today's game, people blame Badiashile, I get it. But if you noticed, Chalobah didn't step up quickly enough. It's small things like these that affect the chemistry with the players. So yes, we need a spine. I was so surprised to see Badiashile, because I think it was Maresca overthinking again that I need a left-footed centre-back on the left-hand side to make those passing lanes. And when he got that passing lane, ironically, is what led to that goal. You get me? So sometimes, you just need consistency. I feel like just play one lineup consistently. When players are really fatigued or tired, then you rotate them. Don't think that all these players are on the same level, because you cannot tell me today that Badiashile and Fofana are on the same level.
Absolutely.
We've seen Badiashile. You can play him in Carabao, sure. Champions League, maybe against Karabakh, sure. But now you're sacrificing quality for tactical precision, but you're not really factoring in that you're doing that. And that's leading to a lot of problems, because the system is good. I've always said that. And yes, we don't have players, but sometimes it's self-made mistakes. Because a game like today, okay, we had higher XG, we should have won 2-1, but we threw it away. Because again, we're like, we're supposed to, do this to get that. It doesn't work, because you don't have those caliber of players in every position. I think sometimes Maresca needs to realize that he doesn't have Maldini, Nesta, PK, and Ramos at the back. He has Benoit and Klosterman. So those are differences we have to be careful of. Build one consistent spine, because we're lacking that right now.
I had the privilege of sitting down with Victor Moses a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
And then we were talking about Chelsea and where we are now as a team. And
Please,
one of the things...
You had the chance to sit with who?
Victor
Moses.
Moses. He was once our player. Yeah, he
Oh,
played for us. And Mourinho was using him as a fullback there, if you remember. And
Conte also.
yeah, so one of the things he said, which is wisdom, was that Chelsea, the model now, lacked natural leaders all over the pitch, which is quite remarkable, which I find true. Now, let's assume that Rich James is now fit, he's been fit. We pray that he continues to be fit. If Rich James, by accident or, well, bad luck, gets injured, that team has not got a natural leader on that pitch. Now, so you wonder who is controlling these guys. They are all maybe age mates. They are all kids with big fat bank accounts. Sometimes I look at Enzo Fernandez and I think he's cocky, he's arrogant. Sometimes let your football do the talking instead of talking the heads of the referee and all that. So we don't have those gladiators anymore. When we were letting Thiago Silva leave, I thought it was a big mistake. Thiago Silva would have agreed. He would know that he can't be playing every game, but you need such heads in your dressing room. You need
Even John Terry made
yeah.
made that analogy. There's one guy who actually stepped out. It was Godfrey. Oh my God, Elba. I just want to ask you
Yes.
permission
Yeah.
for a minute. Can I
Yeah.
put you backstage? I bring
Yeah.
in Godfrey, then I
No.
will get you
Yeah.
back. But don't leave.
No. No
Don't
worries.
leave. Don't leave.
Yeah. No worries.
Okay. So Olu, yeah. Let me just bring in Godfrey. I'm going to give
uh,
you the mic to
Tyron,
proceed.
you
That's
can
fine.
put me also in the
You
back.
can
No,
you can put me in the background as well. It's not an issue.
can come
If
in.
you want to
Okay.
put me too, I don't mind. I like
I don't
listening.
mind. You
Yeah.
just choose whoever. You just put it. You don't have to ask.
Okay, no problem. So, Olu, you can let me hear Godfrey. I've really kept him out, and
That's fine.
I
That's fine.
yeah. Godfrey, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where are you getting? Where are
I'm
you watching us from?
from Uganda.
Oh,
It's even a
welcome.
bad day for me because we
Gamba
just lost 2-1 to Tanzania. We drew
Oh,
1-1, but we had a chance of even the game to put ourselves in a good position. And the two games were going on at the same time, so it was really tough. But for me, I wanted to bring in some other aspect. I wanted members to think. The team which is leading the table is having a coach has been there for some good time. Look at the one which is in second, look at the one which is in third. The one which is in fourth, their coach is new, but they had a manager who stabilized the system for a long period of time. Now, if we really sit down and think that chopping managers is going to change a lot, I don't think that will be true. Because however much that we got the success we've got, but you can agree with me, we've never had the dominance Man City has had because of having Pep. We've never had the longevity Liverpool had, however much we won the trophies. We've never challenged for the title in a row like Arsenal has done. And all that came from the chopping and so on and so forth. And then
I
too,
do. I do agree with you. I'm one person who always holds that opinion. I don't always like chopping and changing managers because I also do understand that Ateta when he came to Arsenal, he was also making a lot of blunders, but he was given that leeway. But again, this is Chelsea. Yeah, I can continue.
I think that is the narrative that needs to change. That narrative needs to change because if we continue with Chelsea, that means
There is an issue with your microphone. Yeah, there is an issue with your microphone. Can't hear you. Can you hear him, guys?
You're really far from your mic. Try getting closer.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, a
If
little
you
bit
have an
closer.
earphone, we are now getting the background.
Of the ear?
Okay. Yeah, if you have an earphone, just take it off and just speak directly to your phone.
Okay, so I was saying, can you hear me now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You're okay now.
Okay, I was saying that that is the narrative that needs to change, because if we're going to continue with that narrative, then we're not going to really progress that much. I think we need to agree that for the dominance we're talking about, for the teams that have had that dominance, which we've kept on challenging over time, they've managed to keep their coaches even in the worst. Look at Ancelotti, the kind of season he lost 9 games in succession. We haven't reached that level, but Liverpool stayed with them and they are fourth right now. They are chasing a pack on Aston Villa and those who are on top. So if we can't really exercise that, when we lose one game, then we go out of our heads. Then tomorrow we win against Man City, and then everybody is saying Maresca is a manager who is genius and so on. If people are underrating Maresca, I think that is wrong, because if you look at the kind of level has put this kind of a team to go toe to toe with the best teams you can talk of. Okay, people can undermine the game against Barcelona, but even before the red card, Chelsea was the better team. You can't look at the PSG game, you can't look at the Liverpool game when they were champions even. You can't look at both games when Manchester beat us last season. Chelsea was a better team. But there's something we need to agree that
Okay, I do.
according to them,
Yeah, yeah. You finish. You can finish.
okay. So I was saying that according to the kind of model we have, it's not a model of today, and people should agree that's the ownership we have. The Abramovich ownership is not sustainable in the market now. There are not many teams that are really sitting on that kind of way. Look at what Bayern did. They brought in company who had just relegated the team, gave him the platform, gave him the players he pointed out, and now you can see what Bayern is doing. Not only the Bundesliga, but even out of it.
Thank you. And I do not disagree with you with the level of consistency and having a manager consistent within the club. The issue that we have, the issue that we are trying to address is that it's not generally the manager, but we are saying, yes, you have said this is a project. We agree with you, it's a project. But every year they should be, you know, they must be steps. Like Pochettino took us from 12th to 6th. Maresca took us from 6th to 4th. Maresca this season, if he gets us third with 70 points, I will say that is progress. You see? But they must be systematic progress. Not that when Maresca takes you from 4th or from 6th to 4th, you are selling, you're chasing away his striker, you're buying BAM, you're spending 90 million on BAM left wingers who you can't even trust to start. You see, you're spending 50 odd million on a player like Lavia who's never fit. You're seeing that. But again, I just like any transfer window, I do understand that you can never always get it right in every transfer window. You can never always get it right in every transfer window. There are some transfer windows where you will blank. That happens to every team. The thing about consistency, I also agree with. Yes.
Tyler, a minute.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me that at one point we are shipping out to Kukulela to Man United, and he was looking like a flop?
Yeah.
Do you remember that at one point we are looking at Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo as waste of money? I think we are not. If we judge the transfer in 6 months, 5 months, I think we are not really fair. I wish we could give it the time we gave to the Enzos, the time we gave to the Kukulelas, the time we gave Bob Sanchez. You know how much Bob Sanchez has been, but today it would have looked worse if it wasn't for him. We would have lost with a very big margin. There are very many games we would have lost badly if it wasn't for Sanchez. So I
I've
think
always
we
said
need to
that.
really have that, exercise that patience for the wingers like Gittens, your Garnachos. You may not think that they are going to really click it immediately, because look at Vats, look at Isak. We haven't spent on any of them to the amount Isak was spent on, but Liverpool is paying patient. They've put pressure off him, and now Vats is clicking. The trigger is
But
clicking.
But there's no issue. There is no issue with that. But the problem here we have is we are not saying that Gittens and Ganacho are not good players. They are good players. But if you have 90 million and you have an option of getting this Rogers guy, what is his name? This Rogers guy who has played against us today. You go and
Morgan
get that
Rogers.
kind of player. Yeah, you go and get him. You go and get Semenyo. Sometimes you have to use that money and go and bring Premier League proven wingers. You
Yeah,
don't
just like
go and
this up
just
was
play.
brought in.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
Liverpool went and brought this up, but now he's warming the bench. And Ekitike is who was not even in the Premier League, is killing it. So I think it would be fair to give them time, just like we gave Caicedo time. He was Premier League proven. We gave Kukelera time. He was Premier League proven. So if people start writing off Delap just in a minute, I don't think that is right. Because there is that time when Haaland also struggled to really fit in. Arsenal went for Gyökeres. What is he doing? Where are the goals? Man United went for Sesko, who may look like they were better players than Delap. Where are the goals? So I think it's a matter of time, and we'll need patience. But this thing of jumping on the manager, jumping on the management when things don't work, I think we are not fair enough. Because everyone who's there would like the success. But let us put it in context. Chelsea has won more than Arteta and Maresca. True or false?
Yeah. Sure. We have won. We've done well under him, because when I look at Mikel Arteta, the first 2 seasons he finished 8th with Arsenal. But I would like to give Isaac an opportunity to ask you questions. Ask you just one question, because I think Isaac is one person who has a lot of questions when it comes to the manager. He's the one who probably wants the manager gone, and he believes that if Maresca goes, things will be okay. So Isaac, you can ask Godfrey a question. He's
So
talking about
yeah, Godfrey is part of your team who wants the manager to stay, but Godfrey just speak a lot about many players who could come and help. Godfrey, what we have to notice, all of us, is that the politics of the owner, the new owner, is not to bring the player who are, I don't know, who are old. You see, who are old, who they want to bring in like young players, talented young players. You see, and then give them like long contract to make sure that they can stay at the club for long. So now we need a manager who should get best of those young players. So for this moment, we should stop dreaming that we could have those players like Semenyo. Last week we had a live discussing about Semenyo, and I said it clear. For me, I was surprised to hear that Chelsea want to bring Semenyo. Semenyo is now 26-year old. But what I know is that in nowadays, we cannot bring players with that age at the club. Then, like 15 minutes back, they said that no, we are not going to sign him. And Semenyo has chosen Manchester City. So now, in this new environment we are, what can we do? Do you think that this young squad with a experienced manager, because for me, you cannot convince me now that we have a experienced manager at the club. Our our manager is also learning day by day. Then he keep learning. There is someone, I think is Olu, I don't know, Olu or someone else who said, or Mehdi, who said about rotating players. Today, may I ask you a question? Can you tell me which player is fitting in our starting 11? What is our starting 11 today?
One thing, Isaac, I can say about the starting 11 and the player selection is that nowadays a lot of things are factored, especially when you look at the number of games a player has done. But I'm not defending Maresca. Sometimes he makes too much changes. I don't even understand how Badiashile came into this lineup today. But Badiashile played well in the first half. But again, he always has that bozo moment in game. So AM from Namibia, Godfrey, thank you very much. But thank you very much for your insight. But I'm just trying to shorten minutes because there's a lot of people, so that we can also have other people to talk. But thank you very much. I am in line with your thoughts on the chopping and changing. I do understand how it affects the club.
It's okay, Thailand.
Thank you very much. You welcome to join us again.
All right, all right.
Yeah. I will just put you in the backstage, but I will add you later.
It's okay.
So AM, you wanted to say something. I'm bringing back Elba back into the stage. Oh, AM has dropped off. I wanted to give him time. Probably he might have clicked his mic off. Yeah, he's here. He's here. So I'm going to give you an opportunity, and then Elba is going to say something. So hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically all I have to say is I feel like us as Chelsea fans need to lower our expectations of the team, because I'm hearing a lot of people trying to blame Maresca for the reasons of us losing, but genuinely I don't think it's his fault, because today you see Bereshil starting, and we've seen Bereshil and Disasi playing, and we know what Bereshil is, so we really can't expect more from him. And at the end of the day, it's as long as the model keeps buying these young, unproven talents, we can expect the inconsistency. Again, you see, even our players. When I watch our players, I see we can't shoot from range, and you see today even Fernandez chance. How doesn't he score that? And then yeah, basically, that's that's all I have to say. That I think we as Chelsea fans should lower our expectations. We should emotionally detach from the team, because we are miles off Champions League. We don't like last season. I feel like Maresca overachieved, and the board were were sold on this idea that the team we have is good enough. And even I've heard people saying Jackson. I believe Jackson is better than both the strikers we have right now. So we got rid of Jackson to buy two strikers that are worse than him. Because let's be honest, Delap and João Pedro they're awful. João Pedro today should have scored. Maybe there was a cross from Ganacho, there was a cross from Neto. If we had people like Osimhen, he's probably scoring those goals. And because of this new wage structure and all these things that they're trying to implement, we're we're gonna have to expect for the next maybe minimum 3 to 5 years Chelsea being an average team. And also, I'd just like to add, I feel like Maresca, if Man City want him, he will leave the club, because he's better than Chelsea. Last season, he overachieved with players that were not even good enough to win that Club World Cup. The Conference League, we were good enough, but I just feel like again, Maresca is a very good manager, and the blame can be on him, because imagine if we had players like, imagine Bastoni, he wouldn't make that pass. Players like Osimhen would score more chances. Ganacho, even you look back to Everton and Newcastle. If we bought
Even
Rodrigo
even
instead of
even even the Bournemouth game, Ganacho had opportunities to score. But also to just sorry to interrupt you, but also to add whatever you are saying with regards to the rotation. The thing that I'm saying here is that if we have a good squad, it doesn't matter even if we rotate players, because even if we rotate players, we are bringing in quality players. So the problem that we have is that we have a decent first 11, and then we have just a poor second 11. Like imagine if Sanchez got injured and you're replacing him with Jorgensen. You'll be shipping in goals every game. You'll be shipping. That's how big that difference is. Imagine Fofana and Chalobah are out, and then now you have to start Tosin and Benwa. Look at that. Even when we used to have Frank Lampard at the club, look at the bench that we used to have. Look at the bench we used to have. Our starting centre backs were Rudiger and Thiago Silva. But if Rudiger and Thiago Silva are unable to start, you had Zuma and Christensen. Zuma and Christensen are better than Tosin and Benwa. Everybody in this panel can agree with that.
Yeah.
Look at that midfield. Do you know that there was a time at Chelsea where we used to make substitution for Kante and bringing in Kovacic? Look, Kovacic was now the second midfielder in our midfield.
Yeah, you are very correct, because when you look at it, other than Cowell and Fofana, the rest of the centre backs are not good enough. And I'm the biggest fan of Enzo Fernandez, but let's just keep it honest. He's not good enough for Chelsea in the Premier League. He's not mobile
Oh,
enough. He's a good player.
blasphemy,
Enzo
blasphemy,
is not
blasphemy,
Enzo. Like I won't lie to
blasphemy.
you. I'm the biggest fan of Enzo Fernandez. He's not good enough to play in the Premier League for Chelsea, because you look at other players like Elliot Anderson, and they're just mobile and they're physical. And Enzo, he's built for Real Madrid. So I believe we should just let him go to Real Madrid for 100 whatever million, because to be honest, if we're playing a double pivot, we will not survive. Because even for the goals we conceded, we can even ask the question: where's the midfield? Where's the defense? I understand Bereshil made a poor pass.
Now
Aston
you're
Villa,
talking. See,
Aston Villa were making
this is the
multiple mistakes.
first intelligent comment the whole night. Where was the midfield? The midfield was overrun and they were tired from the first half. Now that is where the issue lies in the second half. Why we lost this game is that we were running out of gas. Running out of gas. Simple. The team is
I
not
think
bad.
I think I think to some extent what even Christian is pushing at when he's talking about running out of gas is that, again, we are immature. We can't manage the game. We don't know when it's time to actually just keep the ball. Just keep the ball and conserve the energy. But we want to get the ball. We already want to play the ball to Neto and run and
I will
run. And
say one thing as well about that point with Enzo. If you go see Enzo, he's not really someone you should be playing in a CDM position. I understand that sometimes we play him in that left eight and we ask the fullback to invert, but usually Kukurea is pushed back and he tends to be overwhelmed. Enzo doesn't really track back and his defending is horrible. So I think Enzo does offer you things. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't. He offers you good creativity on his day. He's a good, goal threat as well for a midfielder. The issue is I feel like we have too many players whose profiles are overlapping the same position. Enzo, Palmer, Pedro, they're all tens. And like Caicedo, I think people forget how much work Caicedo does, because I don't think any defensive midfielder in the league does the work that he does. And that's because he doesn't really have a competent defensive midfielder next to him. At least someone who can at least do average, amount of decent work. But Enzo can't even do that. We've seen time again, even with the eye test, even the stats show it, underlying numbers show it, that Enzo is really easy to get past. So I'm gonna say something that people might not agree with me on, but I don't think losing Enzo would be the worst thing in the world.
And you haven't seen how Chelsea's been playing recently without Enzo.
I've seen that. I understand that there's that control aspect, but I feel like if you bring in a midfielder who's just overall more well balanced and can play next to Caicedo, it brings more stability. As long as they're just good enough on the ball, that's it.
Let me ask you a question. So do you agree that Maurizio Pochettino, I've seen Isaac has dropped. Do you agree that probably Maurizio Pochettino was right in retaining Conor Gallagher? Because when you look at it, Conor Gallagher, yes, he can go forward, but he also has the energy to sit next to Caicedo and help Caicedo in midfield.
Yeah, but let's be real. That guy was just a madman. Like he was crazy. Like Pochettino used to push everyone in front and tell Caicedo, whatever happens, it's your problem. Like I don't think so, because Pochettino's system was still horrible, right? He still used to play Enzo in that 6 and Gallagher in the 10.
I'm generally not talking about yes. I'm generally not talking about just the Pochettino system. I'm talking about if you replace player for player, if you take out Enzo into this team and you put in Conor Gallagher, do you
Hmm.
think Gallagher does better because he can do the 8, he can go up and down, but even when he comes to sit next to Caicedo, he helps Caicedo. Do you think that
You
can
know,
work?
you know what? Yeah,
100%.
yeah. People are gonna hate me for saying that, but yeah, Conor Gallagher was still a threat on goal. Even now, his stats show he was still good in interceptions. He gave a lot of fouls. It was easy to get dribble past, but at least he offered you something more defensively compared to Enzo. He was he used to get in the box. His passing was, normal. He wouldn't like switch the ball, but he'd keep it simple. Sometimes you need that from your midfielder. I do think he would do better, personally.
So, so we do agree that Pochettino on that regard was right. That's why I'm telling you. That's why I'm telling you. Player politics is what is keeping players like Fernandez in the club because they were bought at a high price. It's been long since I had Elba. Elba, how are you?
I'm still here, just absorbing, listening to all the viewpoints.
So, do you agree with that viewpoint on that midfield?
Of course, Tyrone. I said this last week. I said it's a hot take, but I will take that money. If we can get 130 for Enzo, I will take him and get me like Star, one of those African players that can run. Ball carrier, but
Bruno.
can also run with the ball. Meaning, if Caicedo is alone, they're tracking back. They might not have the passing. And again, like Christian, today was the first time I actually went on FB Ref and I looked at midfielders and I looked at Enzo stats, and they're high up there. So I'm not again. It doesn't. The eye test was what that didn't look good for me for Enzo because when I think of a midfielder, I think of Yaya Toure, tall, bold, long strides, and sometimes Enzo looks like playing in the high half spaces. He looks like, man, I don't know how you're carrying your legs. All those goals he scores. I'm like, God, Enzo is not fast. We know that. But today I looked at his stats on FP Ref and I was like, oh, they're really high. Again, as
No,
just an
they're high
astute
for.
person, if I can get 130 million, I think you can use that money and get a player that is faster than Enzo, might not give you the passing, but maybe that's not what the team needs because you have Kopama and the wingers and they can carry the ball and bully people. Again, I think it's two camps for Enzo. And I'm just saying if you give me 130, right? We've made profit from him. I think we can go in the market and get a player that can suit the system better.
Like,
And
And I'm
like
not
Bruno
even
he's
Guimaraes.
singling out Enzo today for the game. Me, I'm
Okay.
more high level that the issues were in the club are more than what happened today.
But
And do you
my brother, how this club operates. So you let's say with what your theory, they sell Enzo for 110 or 120. You just know that they can't help themselves. They're going to find some 17-year-old from somewhere from the favela somewhere in
yeah.
Brazil.
from you're going
They're
to
not
I
gonna
think
use 70, 80, or 90. They're gonna say, fuck
I,
that.
they're probably going to sign five under 12s from one
the,
from Slovenia, another one from
the, the,
Ecuador.
the Amazon forest, rainforest, and the guy was hunting, I don't know, whatever the day before.
So we can just say that overall the construction of this team by the sporting director is a problem because you see we a lot of us, yes, I know Isaac gets annoyed when we talk about trying to defend the manager's tenure at the club, but the situation between I think the Maresca and Arteta are operating from two different scripts. Arteta was brought in and the team was built to suit what Ateta wants to create. With Maresca, it's the vice versa. He was brought in, but the team is being built by the club, not looking at the areas that the team needs strengthening, but rather looking at what can generate them more profit. So these are two managers who have an idea of how they want to play, but the recruitment of the club is different. One was aligned with the manager, the other one is aligned with how we can be Brighton 2.0.
Exactly. Exactly. Biggest
Because you
problem
cannot
of the
because you cannot tell me how we are having so many players occupying one position like that number 10. That number 10 is Palmer, it's Fernandez, it's João Pedro. That is that number 10 position. And now we're asking ourselves, should we drop Palmer? Palmer
honestly,
is,
just sell Enzo, go to Madrid, and be like, how much do you want for Camavinga? I think that gives us a lot more solidity.
but
He's
does
a good
Bruno
Camavinga,
passer.
but
Bruno
will
Yeah.
G
Cam,
from Newcastle.
Bruno Guimaraes, you see, this is the thing with
He's
Chelsea
too
now.
old. They're not gonna go for Guimaraes. She's too old.
You see now, this is the problem with Chelsea. This is the problem with Chelsea. I think we have already spoiled our name in the market.
Yeah.
No young promising young player is going to come to play for Chelsea. No one.
London is
If
London.
even if I was a young player and I was a superstar and I was approached by Chelsea, Manchester City, and Arsenal, I'll pick Manchester City. They will pay me better, and there's an opportunity of me winning over there.
Just go get Camavinga and tell them we'll give you Enzo, you give us Camavinga.
Are Chelsea willing to pay Camavinga's wages? Because you know Real Madrid players, you might even find Camavinga on 400 grand a week.
My issue is I don't know because Chouameni would have been nice as well, but he's too essential to them. And I don't think Chelsea is a very lucrative option for players right now. Like even if I'm a footballer, I see Chelsea, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to move there right now. They're just a whole mess. Like they need to get their shit together. Yeah. I don't know, man. I would have got Camavinga because you have Bellingham, you have Guller, you have Valverde, you have Chouameni. One of them is bound to get dropped, and then even someone in that Madrid front line, bro. You could go for. You see, these are the level of players we should be looking at.
As,
Why? Why?
let me ask you a question. Has
Mm-hmm.
Esteval chosen the wrong club for his future development?
Yes.
Man, we should have. If we got Rodrigo
I
and
hate to say,
Camavinga, have such a different team.
Esteval. I feel like he's at the wrong club for his
yes,
talent. For his talent,
yes,
Chelsea's going to eat him up and throw him out, spit him out.
Mr. Christian, yes, because I think you know how they say hindsight is 2020.
Mhm.
It's not just about the coach. Maybe it could have worked for the coach, but now that we've realized that there's so many hands in the kitchen, I would say a strong yes. There's a way to integrate a player, but when the coach has to worry about other things like rotation and all kinds of permissives, or hey, we lost to Atalanta. What happened? Or hey, Matt Law from a podcast said the team is a reflection of the coach. And so if they're having bad behavior, that means the coach. Have you ever heard of a high level $1 billion company going to scout social media to come tell the coach, hey, this journalist from the podcast said this shit? I will cuss you the fuck out. Who the fuck? What the fuck, man? Anyway, sorry, I had to use big energy. But that tells you the level of the nonsense that there's too much micromanaging. But somebody
Yeah.
like me being in the West, it's normal in the West. This is normal. This is how billionaires in the West behave. They want to micromanage every aspect. What happened is this game. Let's sit down. Let's give a review, X, Y, and Z, even though the coach needs his autonomy. But this is it's not new, but it's new for people in the Premier League. But a lot of sports in the West like this, the coaches, owners behave like this. But
You
it's
see,
fucked up.
you see one thing that I have to say, and you've really brought it up about this micromanagement. I think somebody's mic is somehow on. I think I like what Elba said about this micromanagement thing. there's what we call delegation of duties. I always hear people saying that Chelsea have lost the game and Egbali and Todd Boehly have gone to the dressing room. I'm asking myself, what are you going to do in the dressing room? It's so bad seeing the owners always going to the dressing room, always going to the training pitch, calling the manager after a game and asking him what went wrong, this and this. This is so bad. There's a reason why when Roman Abramovich came in and he was constantly making these mistakes of sacking managers, I think after sacking Carlo Ancelotti and everything going downhill, that is when Roman decided to leave direct management of the club and hire a director of football. That is how Marina came into the club. So you just now, if it's the sporting directors, there's no problem. But you're seeing even the owners going to the team. I think even me, if I'm a manager, Chelsea Football Club is a toxic environment to work with. That's just how I see it.
Guys, can I ask you something? If tomorrow we got an offer for 200 million, 250 million, whatever, for Cole Palmer, are you taking it?
Sell.
But you see now the thing why I might even not like to take it. I don't trust these guys are going to use that money to buy players that are going to improve the team.
We'll buy like 50 12-year-olds and put them in the academy.
So that's why it doesn't make sense, because it's not like they're going to say, oh, we have this money. Let me go get Bastoni. Let me go get Osimhen. Let me go. No. Oh, there's a young boy in Norway who's 9 years old. He'll be a good player for Chelsea. He'll be a good player for Chelsea in 2040. Chelsea fans, be patient, be patient. You're going to be a great team. Because let me tell you this fallacy, I'm telling you, Maresca will be the last manager that they're going to sack, and everything is going to flip in this club. The fans now are going to protest and leave everything, because you signed Broja, you signed Kanich Kumeka, you sold us hope with Tyreek George, you sold us hope with Ashing Pong, you're selling us hope with Kwenda. So all these young players that you had before, you never brought them into the team. Even the likes of Ugochuku, they were just bought and sold. So fans are going to be like, these young players are not being bought for the team, they're being bought to be sold. So the fans are going to say, we don't care about the project. Sign us competent players, we want to win now. And if the board is not going to win now, then they should prepare. The revenue, the taps are going to dry. It's going to be Arsenal AFTV 2016 repeat, where fans are telling each other, do not buy the club merchandise. Stop buying season tickets. It's going to get like that. If
But
they can't listen to what the fans are saying, yes.
But we're there already. We become a mediocre club. That is the reality. Whether we want to admit it or not, we become, as you said, somebody said we became Brighton. I don't know who said that, but very accurate. But going
Tyrone
back to
said that.
Yeah. Going back to what Tyrone said just 10 minutes ago, you were talking about micromanagement. And Abramovich was this or the other. Abramovich, he was the epitome of, he was Mr. Micromanagement himself. All those sacking of managers, lose 3 games in a row, the helicopter's landing, you are sacked, you're fired. What is that? That is micromanagement. You don't think that Abramovich knew every little thing which was going on in the dressing room? He would go there, address the players, and he would throw the kettle or the boot or whatever. I think Abramovich is that type, micromanagement type. That is probably why these new owners have carried off where he left on. And that manager, you said the sports manager, was the Marina, the disaster, the corrupt one. She was that was just a smoke screen. But for public affairs, ever since that business when we lost our, what do you call the physio? What was her name? Eva somebody. What was her name?
Eva
Canero. And strange enough, ever since she left, things sort of like went downhill. I don't know if it's some kind of bad karma or something happened ever since that moment. But I know Mr. Tyrone doesn't believe in those kind of things, but that's beside the point. And but ever since, but I think she was put there for more public goodwill and, for women in a position and all that. But what does she really do apart from buy players from the exact same agent? No other agent. Oh, you go and research. You will see all the players she bought. They came from the same agent. One has to wonder why. And why did, when the new board took over, straight away they went to report it to the FA, so and so and so, irregularities were happening, because they knew that if the FA found out before they reported it, they would have been held to pay.
Guys, I just want to read you something here that Maresca has said, and I'm telling you, sometimes you just have to say that probably Isaac is right some point at some point. So Maresca was asked on why Fofana was benched, and this is what he had to say. He said, "We have another game in 72 hours, so we need to manage West. He's
Oh my
important player.
God.
We have so many games, that's for sure. All of them are going to play. So you choose to bench probably your best center back against a very strong team so that you can save him for Bournemouth."
It's still not an excuse because you're at Ashampong. Why didn't you play him?
He's under punishment with his last game.
What did he do last game? He literally did nothing.
But you know how he is. If you're not Maresca's son or family member or whatever, and you do just a mediocre game or one small tiny mistake, you're out for 3-4 games. That's just how he operates.
That is so ridiculous, man. Like, okay, if Fofana isn't fit, play like the next most competent player. It's clearly Ashampong. I don't think he makes that mistake. I really don't.
And that's just how Maresca is.
I'm telling you, Maresca, it would have even been better just telling Fofana, please help me out. I'm going to say you felt something during warm up because, oh my God, that is such a ridiculous excuse. You know what I've
Yeah.
always said? You always hear what I always say? I always say, just win the game that you have. Stop thinking about the game that is next. How many times do I always come here and say, Maresca needs to focus on the game that he's playing? So sad.
One
It's
thing at a
even
time.
better. It's even better he played Fofana in this game and then played Beno in the other game. And then we can be like, Fofana can't play 3 games.
So are
Are
you
you-
trying to tell me, Tyrone, what's our next game? That he rates Bournemouth
Bournemouth.
higher than Aston Villa? Because in the live chat before this game, we all were cautious. All the text, nobody was like, this is gonna be a sweep. We all were cautious about Aston Villa. And after the first half, like my son, I took a deep breath. I said, neither, little did I know that that deep breath of calming my nervous system was only going to last for 10 minutes. So
I'm telling you something. Maresca sometimes makes it so difficult for himself. So difficult. The fans, you are probably one manager who the fans want to back because let me just say this. It's not that Maresca is such a great manager that the fans are no, it's just that the fans are like the fans lost their hope on the ownership of the club. So they're just trying to support Maresca as a rebellion to the ownership of the club. But damn, you can't tell me that you're benching Fofana for Bournemouth at home. Fofana got an entire week's rest. Fofana is even a Muslim, so he didn't even celebrate Christmas and Boxing Day. He was just on the training ground.
Fofana is
And
a
you
Muslim.
benched him. Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea.
Oh,
Yes, go Godfrey.
Let us be for real. Okay, Badeshi might have made that mistake, but let us not forget that even Fofana in the previous game, he's the one who lost the ball before we conceded that first goal against Newcastle. So I think
You
I
see,
don't
people
think
people
the goals we considered were as a result of changing the back line.
No, Godfrey. It's not generally about changing the backline. It's about consistency. What the fans are calling for is consistency. That is what the fans are calling for. Your centre backs are not perfect. Even Van Disney, who's now ahead of us, makes mistakes, and he blames everybody on the pitch apart from himself. That's what Christian said.
But
Is
it's
that Van Dyke?
true.
Is that
Did you
Van
see
Dyke you're calling Van Disney? Show some
that? This,
respect.
but did you
That's
see him?
Christian saying.
Did you see him? Not this game here, but the game before, where he was kicking air. He just completely said, "Come on, man! At that level, at that elite level, you should not be kicking the air. You're supposed to actually make some contact with the ball, but that is, but yeah, but he's okay. He's. But you see Liverpool, how they have started scratching out wins. Yes, they got booed off the pitch, by the way, today against Wolves. That was absolutely a terrible performance. But still, 3 points is 3 points. It doesn't matter how you get them. When the season is done, nobody will remember that game and that you were absolutely lousy. They'll just remember, oh, you got 3 points. Where we were up ahead,
Yeah,
maybe.
Could you co-host for a few minutes? I
sure,
get
sure, sure.
something. Uh,
So yeah, go on, Christian.
So I just say, like in today's game, where we were 1-0 up ahead, sometimes maybe be a bit pragmatic, be like maybe a bit like Aston Villa were in the first half. Park the bus, let them come at you, but be compact. But don't let yourself be wide open and just carry on the relentlessly attacking and then leaving a midfield like a free open highway. And this is how we got torn apart time after time, not just once, but it was they gave us a few warnings, Aston Villa, but still Chelsea in their arrogance or delusion or whatever didn't think maybe we should sit back a little bit, let us weather the storm, and then we can start counter-attacking. You're 1-0 ahead. You don't really need to press the game. It's the other team needs to press the game. So you're not obliged to go and get a winner. But nope, that's a Chelsea Maresca's mentality. Sometimes, take what you have, keep it. And, back in the old days, Conte, Mourinho, 1-0, that was money. But not nowadays. No.
I mean, I get that. At the same time, the thing is, the team is young. They struggle to control the ball. So I guess another reason they were going to try to kill the game is so they could feel more secure. Because again, nowadays 1-0, it's not very often you see 1-0 games. It's just Man United that happened. The last time that happened, I really don't remember. Even our 0-0 against Bournemouth was surprising. It just shows how heavy on goals the Premier League has become. But with the whole thing in midfield, I think it goes back to the point of having Enzo in there. That I think we just lack legs, and with someone who's more athletic, who can give you more energy, who can run more, who allows more defensive prowess, I don't think we get overrun that easily. Okay, I think they have some type of diamond shape, but I still think with a better, more well-rounded midfield, that game looks different. But yeah, wait, Tyrone is back. Where is he there?
He's back.
yeah, I'm back, but I'm back, but there is something I'm checking up. But yeah, Mehdi, just carry on, You're pumping a high IQ kind of discussion. Then when you're done, you can also give AM opportunity, but you just carry on.
But yeah, it's like I said, more legs would probably make us feel better. It would probably also help with the solidity of the team. Sometimes the press also looks disjointed, might I add. Because sometimes you see us press, and then all of a sudden the other side of the field is open. Like I remember there was one time where they got 3 or 4 passes through, and then they slipped the ball to Kamara because the entire team got pulled to one side of the pitch. Kamara ran to the other side. He ran behind Chalobah, and Sanchez rushed out perfectly in time. So I don't know. That does kind of point systematic issues sometimes, but I guess that's the risk you take with the way you play. Yeah. What about you, AM? Any points you want to add?
Can I ask AM one small question before he answers? So,
Sure.
Mr. AM, in this, from what you saw today, from this shower of shit you saw today, who's got to go? Which players are not good enough, not Chelsea quality? Who would you, if you were the manager and you had free hands, who's going to Strasbourg or other clubs?
Both wingers, the strikers, Enzo,
We slow.
Badiashile,
So Garnacho, who else you said?
Canacho, Neto, João Pedro, and Delap, Enzo Fernandez, and Badiashile.
Wow, so many. Enzo.
Yeah.
Enzo, I'm the biggest fan of Enzo, but I will be honest, he is not made for the Premier League. He's more fit for Real Madrid. I feel like we would be a much better team with a Bruno G or even a Tonali. Like you see, even against Newcastle, their midfield looks so strong. Their midfielders are so dynamic. They are mobile. Enzo is slow. His creative ability, I don't really see it. The Enzo I want to see maybe in Chelsea would be there was an assist he gave to João Felix, I think in the 23-24 season. That is the Enzo we need to see consistently if we want him to play next to Caicedo. But he doesn't give us enough of an attacking threat for us to justify the way he leaves holes in our defense.
I think I don't know. I think he does give us a lot of attacking threats, but yeah, he does leave a lot of holes. I don't think Bruno G would be the solution though, because if we go look at Bruno G, he's kind of similar to Enzo's profile. Like he looks like he works very hard on the pitch, yeah, but his defensive numbers are actually pretty low. I was even just checking that myself. And at the end of the day, you have to remember, Guimaraes is playing behind in front of a crazy defense, right? Malik Chow, Dan Burn, Fabian Scher. You have like Livramento, and then even you go to their second level fullbacks, Trippier. Like they have insane defenders. Granted, they've been leaking goals this year, but it's a
And
whole different thing.
and
Hmm.
the question is, we had Livramento and Lewis Hall, and
Oh
both
my
of them
god,
were
man.
Chelsea players.
Yeah,
And let's get to know this. If this board were so obsessed in making Chelsea strong, by the way, they are the ones who sold Livramento and Hall. It
But
was
even
not
Ian
you
Livramento.
know
Matson
why,
today.
right? It was for
Even if,
for profit. It
Pure
was
even
for
profit.
Matson,
profit.
even Matson, like how did they sell Matson? And
But
Yeah,
Tyrone,
he's
go ahead
it's
and
for
balling.
profit. They were academy players, so on the books there was no loss. It was straight up profit. So that's
No,
why they
but
prioritized selling.
with
You
Lewis
know,
Hall, it was
a,
different
a lot of
because
people don't
Lewis
know the
Hall.
real reason why they wanted to sell Chaloba was because he's a for-profit player, just like Conor Gallagher, because they came from the academy. So for the club, it cost them £0. So it's direct profit. It's
That's
honestly
crazy.
true as
speaking,
well. Yeah, it's true as well. But
honestly,
then Lewis Hall wanted to leave. He was a Newcastle fan. So when the offer
because
came in, he wanted to go.
but Lewis Hall wanted to leave because he did not see he was actually third choice to Ben Chilwell and Marco Correa, and they already sold Ben Chilwell. And one thing that I have to say this: I hate the way football has become. Let me just say it. I hate the way football has become. We are fans and we are talking about buying clouds, pure profit. We are accountants and we are just supposed to be football fans. How has this happened? We are now talking about we are now talking about amortization. We are talking about player value. We are talking about book value as if we are as if we are financial officers. That is something that I should be doing as my profession, not something that I should be doing as a fan. Honestly, Christian, how do you see nowadays the game has become?
But it's
Uh,
but you if the game all this FFP and whatever it is was basically the establishment did not like that Chelsea had gate crashed their party, the little party of their fixed teams there. So they decided how are we going to stop Chelsea dominating? How are we going to stop Chelsea outspending everybody? We'll come up with this plan here, and it's been successful because Chelsea, as you know, we can no longer just outspend everybody like we used to do back in the day. Even those rules haven't come in with so many new owners, zillionaire owners from God knows where. Chelsea was under pressure anyway, so it may be in many ways it's also a blessing in disguise because it's been we've been forced to use our academy or to what you call that further develop our academy. But the players, of course, unfortunately, they never get a chance in the team. So what is even the point of the academy other than just to make money? And so basically, that's what we are. We are a profit-making team in that, but we're not really interested in the
But
sports day success because it's all about money, 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 balancing the books and making a profit.
but Christian, I have to ask you a question. Our academy had always churned us very good players in the first team. Remember when Frank Lampard came? We got Mount, we got Gilmer, we got Tammy Abraham, we got Tomori, we got Rhys James. All these players were academy players. Even Lewis Hall and Livramento, who are starting for Newcastle, both of them were academy players for Chelsea. Since Clear Lake came, I've not been seeing young talent sprang out from the academy. The one that I've probably
Exactly.
seen is Josh, and Josh was also signed by them, and Tyreek George. Look at, we used to have Loftus Cheek, Hudson Odoi,
Yeah,
Conor
those
Tyrone,
guys are
Gallagher.
ballers.
please, can I answer
Cobham
this?
has fallen. Cobham has fallen to the ground. They are destroying the club from the
Can
ground.
I answer this, Tyrone?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the first moves they made was to fire a long-time academy coach for the academy. He was there for like 18 years. And a lot of the club OGs were like, man, this is so wrong. They fired him. He was in charge of the academy, including like all the players that came through the ranks. And a lot of people were just like, yeah, they fired everybody. They fired Peter Cech and whatnot. But a lot of people didn't know they were going to go to the academy, right? So, again, just from me I've been listening to Matt Law a lot because I actually think Matt Law is a PR for the coach, for the new ownership. And apparently, their reason of thinking, Tyrone, while you're saying the academy and all that, which Abramovich was like, let's make the academy the best it is, right? We'll filter through it. The best will come to the first team. And then the second best will sell and make for profit. So he was doing two things at the same time, killing two birds with one stone. With their model, they looked at the Brighton model. There's no need for an academy. Go starting players from 4 years, 6 years old. Ain't no need for that shit. Because we can go around the world and just get all these players, right? Get stockpile of Brazilian players, send them to our feeder club, and then it's gonna be a plug and play. If we sell Caicedo now, we have a plug and play ready to come into the first team. But we're also going to recycle the conveyor belt, meaning if we have a player that has potential, well, guess what? How many minutes do they have in the Premier League? Well, this player, you've never heard of him, but he has over 200 minutes in the Premier League. So now his value, even though I bought him for 15 million, is
You
30
see,
million at least. So there's no
you see,
need for the academy with the model.
You see, this is one thing that I have to say. A lot of pundits will talk about, oh, Chelsea spent £1 billion. Chelsea spent £1 billion. And we've always asked ourselves, where has this £1 billion been spent on? Who has been bought with this £1 million? Kani Chikomeka, Amando Broja. There was this guy, Cesare. Do you remember Cesare? You remember
I
that
do remember
midfielder?
him, and now he's
Ah,
Yeah,
gone. A lot
Castle
of
yeah.
guy.
us had our emotions like, oh, he's gonna be a good midfielder,
Look
and
at
somehow
look
he
at
zipped away.
look at Dewsbury Hall. In fact, this season in particular, they deliberately regressed our squad. Because you cannot tell me you're selling Dewsbury Hall to go and bring in Bonanotti. They refused to renew Sancho's contract, and they went ahead and bought Ganacho and Gittens. Ganacho and Gittens are not even close to what Ganacho who's this guy Sancho is. I don't understand. Why couldn't they just focus on buying these young talents and nurturing them in Cobham? Why didn't they focus on nurturing them in Cobham?
I don't know. I do not know. I don't think they have interest in that. They're probably going to use Qualcomm to filter feed into Strasbourg. Here's a shocking thing. Tosin's underlying numbers are actually very good. So do you guys want to start him? Let's give him a chance, right?
Guys, let me end the live and then we can probably talk about something because it has reached 2 hours. I've seen AM has stepped out, or is he in? Oh, it was Christian who stepped off.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, AM, our final words. So, guys,